Hey writers, yesterday we worked to craft the introductions to our essays. Now looking back, we can kind of compare the introduction to our essays as a funnel. It's a way to enter your essay. So an introductory paragraph works like a funnel to draw the reader into the rest of your essay. So we did this by maybe grabbing our reader's attention. We were giving an explanation of the topic of our essay, and we were providing a thesis statement. Now we did this in the style of, say, a Google map, where we start big. We talk about how our thesis applies to life, and then we zoom right in to that bottom small part of our funnel to talk about our thesis statement. So if an introductory paragraph is like a funnel, what would happen if we flipped that funnel upside down? We would have a concluding paragraph. So a concluding paragraph works like a funnel to lead your reader back out of the essay. A good conclusion is going to leave your reader feeling confident that they understand what your argument was about, your argument being the thesis statement. We are proving the theme of our essay through our thesis statement. So we're going to start by restating the thesis. Go back to what you had said before. What is it that we're learning from this story? Reconfirm your argument. So go back and talk again about some of the things that you pulled out as evidence from your essay. Tell them to us again. And then finally, maybe we can have a circular ending. So similar to starting out big with our Google map and zooming in, this time we're zooming in and then we're ending by zooming back out. So how can we reconnect this to life in general, our thesis statement? So in this conclusion, you want to restate the thesis, you want to reconfirm your argument, and you want a circular ending. We're zooming back out on our Google map. You want to repeat the main points of your essays. Now, you don't want to copy word for word exactly what you had in your introduction. You want to use the same ideas, repeat the main points or ideas. Your final thoughts, your conclusion should be your final thoughts about the topic of your essay. Is there anything that you've left unsaid? Is there anything that you wanted to share and you haven't had a chance to? In reconfirming your argument, you want a closing statement that's related to your opening statement. So something within the same idea without totally copying what your words before had said. So for example, this student is writing about Gandhi. So they go and restate their opening thesis by saying, Gandhi once said, "You must be the change you wish to be in the world." And then they go into a circular ending. If everyone in the world did one thing to make a difference, the world would be a better place. Mahatma Gandhi would be proud. So they've gone back, they've restated Gandhi's quotation, and they've also gone in, they've zoomed back out in order to apply it to the world in general. Some things that you do not want to say in your conclusion. Now you know why I would like to go to China. So an example of that in our literary essays could be, now you know why crime doesn't pay. We do not want to restate it that way. Another thing we do not want to do is end with a question. Sometimes that's a strategy. Maybe we open with a question, but in a literary essay, we don't necessarily want to end with a question. So if you could take a trip anywhere, where would you go? Or if you could decide what the theme was, what would you decide? We want our readers to know that we are sure we know what the theme is. So don't leave that open-ended for a literary essay. And then finally, we do not want to end with, "Thank you for reading my essay. I hope you enjoyed it. It was really fun to write." We're proving a point here. So make sure you're not leaving anything open-ended. Make sure you're ending with a confident statement. So here are some exemplar examples from the literary essay packet that we have. The two outcomes don't just apply to stories, they apply to real-life situations. Sometimes your plans work out perfectly, like in The Marble Champ. Sometimes your plans don't work out the way you want them to, as in Freedom Summer. It's just a fact of life that everything isn't perfect. I love that circular statement at the end where they zoom really, really out suddenly and they apply it to life. It's just a fact of life that everything isn't perfect. So while they're zoomed in here in our funnel, they zoom right back out to get us out of the essay. Here's our next one. From this story, I've learned that determined effort can have surprising results. Lupe had motivation to succeed, but I don't think she was expecting to win her first game. I think she had prepared herself as best she could, and she was going to try her hardest. What I realize is that having determined effort to always do your best is important because it can help make your wishes come true. So again, super specific up here. They're restating the thesis by talking about determination and determined effort. They're talking specifically about the story, but then suddenly they zoom back out. What I realize is that having determined effort to always do your best is important because it can help make your wishes come true. So again, zooming out and applying it to life in general, not the story. And last one here. Literature can help you understand things better. For example, I have come through Rachel's thoughts and experiences to a conclusion that growing up is not all birthday parties and blowing out candles. And I have learned that I should appreciate being young while I am. Again, look at that ending line. It's one last tidbit, applying her thesis to life in general, talking about the story in the beginning of the conclusion here. So when you go and write your thesis today, your conclusion today, you want to restate the thesis, you want to reconfirm your argument, and you want a circular ending. So you are referencing what you mentioned in your essay. You can talk about your evidence again. You can state your thesis again, just make sure it's not word for word what you wrote in your introduction, but you want to end on one solid last sentence that applies your thesis to life. It makes us think and it makes us know that your thesis is strong, your theme is true to this story. So how will you funnel readers out of your essay? Go ahead and write your conclusions.